Raila Amolo Odinga has for a long time been a force to reckon with in the political arena in the Kenyan landscape, and still is a political force to reckon with in the Kenyan political landscape, because as we know, he still commands a huge following from Nyanza, parts of western and also the coastal region. Unfortunately, what happens is that most people from this region who are registered voters and strong supporters of Raila Amolo Odinga never go to vote for him. They always say that they already have leadership within their hands, yet on their duty of voting they never do so. Why am I bringing this topic? Kindly stay with me until the end of this video so that we're gonna do a few political analysis with you. Now, recently Raila lost to Mahmoud Yusuf of Djibouti in the AUC chairmanship elections. Now, him coming back to Kenya, what does it mean? Because there have been so many formulated theory with regards to what's gonna happen. One, that Raila Amolo Odinga's union or marriage on the broad-based government is going to break down, and these will see cracks emerging, especially after the High Court had already declared Azimio la Umoja One Kenya the majority in government, and then the Speaker for the National Assembly, Moses Masika Wetangula, overturning the ruling and insisting that Kenya Kwanza is the majority. And prior to that, we had already seen that Junet Mohammed, who is legally the minority leader, had already assumed the seat of the majority, self-proclaimed, attesting that the seat is even much warmer than the minority seat that he always has in parliament. And after that drama happened, we saw them saying Ruto must go. We saw them saying that they don't believe in this broad-based government. And that was just a few days to the AUC elections. Does that mean it's the stand that Raila Amolo Odinga has? Because remember, nothing happens in the party without the party leadership being involved. If not, then they will have to face what we call the disciplinary committee. But will that really happen? Because already we have seen cracks emerge in ODM. For instance, the moment that Raila Amolo Odinga also endorsed Johnson Sakaja, the governor for Nairobi County, for another term in 2027, and leaving alone Babu Owino, the MP for Embakasi East, whose workmanship has always been seen, and recently he was ranked to be the #1 performing MP in all the constituencies within Kenya, followed by a couple. Even Peter Salassi of Mumias was among the people leading in terms of good performance. Now, the factor of Raila Amolo Odinga, what happens if he supports Ruto? Will he gain, will Ruto gain much, or is Raila going to gain much? Well, that goes without saying, because literally in each and every government, Raila Amolo Odinga has been there. From KANU era, Raila Amolo Odinga was in the cooperative. When we go to Mwai Kibaki era, Raila Odinga was there as the prime minister. When you talk about Uhuru Kenyatta, there was the handshake, and now we have William Samoei Ruto with the broad-based government. So Raila has never known to be in the cold corner of politics. He's always on the warm corner of politics. Whatever happens, he always has his ways, and his people will be much better. So the analysis is this: if Raila Amolo Odinga join together with Ruto to help him secure the second term, there will be major key positions that Raila Amolo Odinga will be negotiating for his people in ODM. I'm not talking about the Azimio la Umoja, because here I know already there are rifts. And if we talk about Azimio la Umoja, Martha Karua, the Na Kenya, had officially written to the Registrar of Parties and to the Azimio la Umoja that Na Kenya is no longer part of the Azimio la Umoja. So where does this leave us? Raila Odinga negotiating for the PS's positions, for the CS's positions, and like right now you see they have the major ministries. Like when you talk about CS Wandai is in the energy sector. When we talk about John Mbadi is in the treasury. We talk about Ali Hassan Joho in the blue economy, and when we talk about cooperatives, there we have Wycliffe Ongatsi Oparanya. So and the list will go on further, because I believe this will be a 50-50 kind of government. And it might give Ruto an easy time to clinch a presidency. But again, here is the factor of the Gen Zs, who are actually many, and millennials, who are majority of the voters, who are so tired of these Ruto's regime. And then we have people who are ready to redeem their payslips, because as we are at now, there are so much deductions that is happening on that payslip, different from the normal pay, NSSF and NHIF that used to be there. Now we have share, we have the NSSF, we have the pay, we have the house levy. I mean, there are so many things that are happening within Kenya. And now with the introduction of the 2025 financial bill, there are certain bills that are being reintroduced backdoor that are going to meet the objectives of the rejected 2024 financial bill that saw the uprising of a generation and frontier that was against this regime that seemed to be oppressing. Remember, so much atrocities have been committed with regards to William Samoei Ruto. He has instructed, even though they will always come and deny these, because I believe nothing can happen under the watch of the president, and they claim not to know. When the state-sanctioned abductions were being carried, at first they were very quiet, even denying that they don't know about that. People were unalived, and they denied not aligning to that fact. Just like in other regimes, during the Uhuru Muigai tenure, we had the River Yala. People were being unalived and dumped in a River Yala. That is the same we have in Kenya Kwanza government, whereby if you stand to criticize the government, you have high chances of you being abducted, and the chances of you being found alive are 50-50. So there is that fact of people that feeling that no, Ruto has already lost popularity. Now, in Nyanza, they barely give Raila Amolo Odinga 100%, not even 90, not even 70. The farther they do go is about 60%. And these people who will come with empathy, they will say that if our person is not on the ballot, then there is no need to vote. Therefore, even the percentage you might turn out to vote will be less. We will be left with only, like, as let's say, 50 or 40%. Out of these people who will be voting, a very few of them will actually vote for William Samoei Ruto. Leave alone the talks that, hey, now that Raila has failed to clinch the AUC chairperson seat, we are now going to vote in Ruto, so that we punish the Kikuyus and the entire Mount Kenya region for having voted in Ruto faster, saying that you have to be able to finish what you began. But you see, politics is not played that way. We have numbers in the mountain, and whichever candidate will come in the mountain, and the people align themselves to that person. The person must not necessarily be a Kikuyu. That person might clinch power and might beat Ruto home and dry, and Ruto might just find his way back to Sugoi. That is the one analysis. If Raila aligns with Ruto, he might have it in a silver platter, but that will depend with whom he will be competing with. If the person Ruto will be competing with is a choice of the people, then he will lose with a huge margin. Ruto will lose with a huge margin. And now, let's take on the second factor that Raila runs against William Samoei Ruto. It becomes a two-horse race. Trust me, Ruto will beat Raila Amolo Odinga very early in the morning, just like in the last elections. Because one, Raila has already demonstrated deception by actually defying the fact that Gen Zs went into the streets. They were unalived. There was some bloodshed. He took advantage of that and pierced his way through to the government, to what we now know as broad-based government. And where are the Gen Zs? Nobody's talking about them. No one in the political realm in government. Because the opposition that used to be ODM are now in bed with a government. So they are all forms of government. If they cannot speak for the injustices that are happening within the nation, then who will speak for the Gen Z? So there is that pain seeing that these are people who do not hold utmost integrity. They cannot pass the test of integrity. Therefore, Raila will lose. And we know we have people like sycophants back in Rift Valley who are so, whether it's a ride or die for them, they are person. They will use William Samoei Ruto. Now, that is my analysis. I don't know what you think. Some people also tell Raila, hey, come, you should be on the ballot the year 2027. Others say you are now old, you should be writing your memoirs, just like PLO Lumumba did advise Raila Amolo Odinga. Now that you are on your 80s, kindly sit down, mzee, and write your memoirs. Yours is just to dispense wisdom to the younger generation, to the political bigwigs who are in government and those who are aspiring. So it should be a motivation factor rather than a person who is now vying for an elective position, because it seems like he has already outgrown that. He should be bigger than that. What's your thought? What do you think about the unfolding political, dynamics within the nation? But politics is going to become much sweeter in the near future. The Odinga factor. We also have the Rigathi Gachagua, who has until now hasn't announced the action they are going to take. Remember also in the same line, we also have Dr. Miguna, the general, who has already declared that before 2027, he will be giving a way forward on how to decamp Ruto from the presidency. What's your take on this? Give us your thought in the comment section below. Well, that's it for today. Ahmed Khalif is my name for the Unscripted Talks here in Durb Radio. If you're watching from our YouTube channel, kindly subscribe and press notification button, so anytime that we are live or we upload content of this nature, you'll be the very first person to be notified. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Kwa timba kali za Afrika, Durb Radio ndio mpango mzima.